Okay, so we're recorded. So now I guess we gotta act professional, don't we? I guess, maybe. Okay, so welcome to the first makeup artistry course by Vanessa and Karen. Not sure how it's gonna go, but we're gonna go with it. I hope you learn lots, and it's being recorded, ladies. So if you miss something or don't have a piece of paper and pen, don't worry, it's recorded. So I'm just going to start, Karen, if you don't mind, and I'll kind of just, yep, I figured, okay.
Did you, oh,
Okay.
hey, did you put it on speaker view?
I don't know how to do that. Let me figure that out. How do I do that, Miss Karen?
Are you on your phone?
Yep.
Oh. Can you right click on me and make me the host? Oh, you can't do that either. Can you go to the participant list?
Yep.
If you make me the host, I'll put it on Spotlight.
Okay. Yep. There you go. Let me do the host. Look how smart I am. See? Go. You guys think I'm all techie. I don't know anything. It's all Karen. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay, so this is our first makeup course. Who knows how it's going to go, but we're going to have lots of fun because you know me, I love fun and all that goodness. So I'm just going to start talking and then Karen's going to talk. Ladies, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the chat, but we're going to also open up some time for questions and stuff like that too. So don't worry, just maybe write it down if you want to instead of putting in the chat, but it's up to you. Okay. So the key to getting great results from your skincare and therefore your makeup look is to know your skin's needs. Ladies, the most important thing about any glamour look, any glamour anything, is first your skin. If you have not really great skin or are not using skincare products, doesn't matter what we do contour-wise, makeup-wise, it will never be the best look that you could have, right? Because I find that you'll always be covering up stuff if you didn't use a proper skincare, or if your skin is dry, some of the techniques won't work properly because your skin is dry and like you wouldn't want to use powders and stuff like that. But skin is important. And I don't know if you guys all know this, but you got to consider skin types too when you're doing makeup. At least I find I do. Right? Because it totally makes me change of what products I'm going to use on that lady's skin. So it's really good to know if she's on a skincare system, and if she's not, what is her skincare type, either way. So I'm just going to go through the different skin types, just in case you guys don't know the real details of what it is. So normal skin is not prone to acne, not prone to spots, has a healthy balance of hydration and oil production. That's normal, right? So that's a normal skin. So if someone says to you, well, I have no spots, I have no acne, and I'm pretty, like my face feels pretty soft and moisturized, not dry, not too oily, they're likely normal, right? There's not a lot of normal skin types out there lately because of mask and hormones and so many other factors. So the come across normal is, it's not as common as it used to be. Like it used to be a normal, like I used to have normal skin tone, like skin, and now I am combination. And I used to be dry. So you never really know. And that's the other thing to think of too, is your customer might not know. Right? So listen to the key things she says to you, like what if she has acne, or if she has like hormonal acne or whatever it is, and kind of make notes. And then you can kind of put her into whatever skin type she is, because some people think they stay the same skin type their whole life, and it's not true, right? You can kind of change over all different ways. So oily is shiny, acne prone skin and may have large pores. Doesn't necessarily mean they will have large pores, but they could have large pores, but they're kind of shinier. Like you'll notice, like for me, I'm combination, so I'm a little shinier here, right? And you'll notice it in my face if I'm not using translucent powder or powders or anything in this area. You'll see I'm a little shinier there, right? And especially on camera, you really see the shine, right? So you will pick out oilier skin tones just if you get on a Zoom with them and they don't have any makeup on, you can almost pick it right out because they're a little shinier, right? And so dry skin is skin that is tight and dehydrated and they may feel itchy and flaky in certain areas, and they tend to wrinkle and it's more visible, right? And so for me, I've had dry skin most of my life until recently in the last couple of years, and now I'm more combination. But you'll notice, like, especially in the eye areas and different areas, you will see wrinkles because if they're not using a skincare system, dry people will really show it fast, right? Because their skin is just dying for hydration. And if they're not using any hydration on their skin, then it'll let them know real quick. And then sensitive skin. So it's easy, irritated, turns red, is very sensitive to certain skincare ingredients. Now, sensitive skin has a wide variety because I have sensitive skin too. I don't have the severe sensitive skin. I have more of a mild, but I do, when I start new products, I do get red, right? I do get red and my skin does get irritated. And sometimes I will get pimples because of it, because my skin is annoyed of what product I am. So people think that because they have sensitive skin that they don't, oh, I can't use this product because I reacted. Not necessarily. You just got to slowly add it to your thing. You got to let it balance.
Can I add on to that?
Yeah,
I just want to add on, sometimes people think that they have sensitive skin and really they don't. They just think that they have sensitive skin because one thing that happens when you introduce new skincare into your life is you go through a bit of a detoxification in the first couple of weeks, and it really takes a good 3 weeks before a skincare routine becomes yours. So, that during that first 3 weeks, you can get redness, you can get pimples, you can get dry patches, you can have all kinds of different things, very much like any of you who have tried our retinol line, you may have experienced some of that. And that retinization period is almost similar to what some people go through when they change their skincare. And so I would tell you that 9 times out of 10, people have no idea what skin type they are. And everybody will say they're sensitive. So that's just my 5 cents.
No, it's 100% true. Everybody does. And I always say, me too, right? And it kind of makes them feel better too, right? Like I do. I'm not lying. Like I literally have to, when I get a new product, I want to smear it all over my face, but I slowly got to put it in or my face reacts to it, right? And also combination is oily on the T-zone, usually your forehead, your nose, your chin area, with dry patches around your other parts of your face, right? And see, I can be oily here and dry here. And that's combination skin, right? Like you can be oily in certain spots and literally dry in others, right? And so that's what I have now is a combination sort of skin, right? And for me, it's good to know these different things because like Karen said, people really don't know what skincare they are. They think they are, or they might have been when they were teenagers, but now they're totally different. And as our hormones change and stuff changes, so does our skin. Right? So it totally changes in different skin. So that's really essential before you do any makeup application. And this is some of the things that I used to go through with brides too. When I used to do brides makeup, I made sure that they were on some sort of skincare before, at least a couple weeks, at least 3 weeks before their wedding, more if I was in front of them ahead of time, because they need to get their skin conditioned properly so they have a flawless look on their wedding day. Plus, they need their skin to get used to the skincare, right? I mean, you don't want to show up and she have, her skin is a mess on the wedding day, and then you have to cover it up, right? So you want to work with your customers, your everything. I mean, you can do it, but why not help her know? Right? And teach her about the products and why she has to do this before a wedding. Like it's the same with when she goes to lose weight for her wedding dress, right? She'll stop eating this, she'll stop doing this, she'll stop doing that. Well, you can kind of let her know, just start doing your skincare. Once she starts doing it, she'll fall in love with it because our skincare is amazing. Okay, so next I wanted to go into face shapes. There's 2 things about makeup artistry that are essential. And if you can master these 2 things, you can pretty much do anybody, right? And honestly, well, actually, there's probably 3 things. Face shapes is one of them. Eye shapes is the other. and the color wheel. If you know those three things, you can pretty much do anybody, like anybody's face, anything, because there's so much literature out there to tell you what to do with each face. So once you can master what somebody's face shape looks like and their eyes, right, and their eye shape and the color wheel, you're set, right? So if you don't know what that is, start looking into that and start taking notes and start playing around with your own face shape, and then ask some friends. What a great way to start up a business talk with some of your customers and say, listen, I've been challenged. I just took a makeup artistry course. I've been challenged to get 10 different face shapes. Does anybody have an oval one, a long one, a round one, a square one, or a heart one? Right? So work with your customers. Why not? They'll go with that because they want to know what their face shapes are too, right? And I'm sure they don't have no idea what you're talking about anyway. So there's really more than 5, but I'm going to just talk about the 5 most common. And that's all oval, long, round, square, and heart. So, well, what does that mean? Vanessa, what's an oval face and what's a square face and what's a heart face? Okay. Best way to figure out how to figure out your face is to take a mirror. I'm just seeing if I have one around me. I thought I did. Take a mirror, take a lipstick, and draw your face in the mirror. It's pretty funny how when you take a lipstick and you look in the mirror and then draw your face. It'll kind of give you a look of what your face is, right? So if you just draw, it's really funny to do too. Just draw your face, right, in the mirror, and it'll kind of give you what your face looks like. So let me tell you what the different ones are. So there's oval, and your face gracefully tapers towards your chin. You kind of got like a wider forehead, right? You got prominent cheekbones, and it's the ideal face shape. It's the most perfect face shape. It's considered to be oval, right? Why? I don't know. It must be something to do with how we see and how we look. I'm not 100% sure, but everybody wants an oval face, right? And really, there's very little corrections that you have to do to be once you have an oval face. It's great. Like you can just put makeup on, basically, right? It looks great on an oval face. A long face it's gracefully tapered towards the chin, right? So it's kind of like this, just like an oval. It's got oblong features like your chin, your forehead, your length of your forehead, and it has more like an oval long face. So a long face is kind of like an oval face, but it's longer. So I have an oval face. Just disregard the fat here. But I have an oval face. That's what I have, right? And you can really tell because of my long forehead, right? So that's a real key thing for a long face. And you see how it goes down, and you see my chin, right? So this is the real determinant on an oval, like a long face. And see, if I had an oval face, my forehead wouldn't be as long, right? So it's a long face is just a bigger or longer oval face. Okay, so a round face. The face width and length are almost the same. So it looks like a circle, right? Round, right? So pretty much like this part of your face and this part of your face are almost like the same. So that's really how you can tell a round face. And it's widest at the cheekbones. So you know what I mean? Like they're cute. I call them the cute little cheeks when on the round face. Right? So you're gonna find like you have, cute little cheeks, and you're a little more rounder around your cheeks. And then square. So your forehead, cheekbones, and jawline are almost the same width, right? Because you think of a square, right? So it's almost like a square, but it's a little more rounded off square, right? So a square and bony jawline is predominant. So right here is where you'll see the person's like jawline, right? On a square face, you really can almost see, right? The square kind of thing. And then we got one more, the heart. Face strongly tapered towards the chin. So just like the oval and the long, right? But it's a little more stronger and it's more tapered. It's almost like, you know, how the bottom of the heart, you see like the point, it's almost like that. So on a heart face, it's the person's face is quite tapered down here, right? And the chin's almost, it's not pointy, but it kind of is, right? Like it's almost like you see the cheeks aren't as round like the round face. They're more kind of tapered down, right? And your forehead is sometimes the main thing. And sometimes you really kind of see the heart, like the hairline. You'll notice someone on their hairline and it almost looks like a heart, like their hair will come down and it almost gives them a kind of a heart kind of look to their face, right? Okay, so ladies, who do we think is a long, oval, round, square, or heart? And tell me which ones you ladies think you are, and I'll look at you and let's all decide. So whoever wants to go first, let me know.
I'm an oval. Oval square. So I have this kind of thing going on here.
I'm long. May said she's hurt.
Rebecca says she has a round face.
Okay.
I think Rhonda's oval. I think.
Okay. Oh,
I don't
lucky
know what
girl.
I am.
I'm looking at your face. What do you think Marilyn is?
I don't know what I am.
She
Round?
sort of looks long,
Long
right?
oval.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Long oval.
thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And Rebecca, you're right. You're definitely round. I love those cute little cheeks. That's what I love about the round. I look at their cheeks and I'm like, oh, I just want to pinch them.
But this exercise is when it's really, really, really handy to do that.
All my life, Vanessa, I was told I looked like a Cabbage Patch doll, and I know this people want to come up and pinch my cheeks, and I'm like, no, I don't like it. I want to get rid of them. Or people come up to me and they're like, you have such rosy cheeks, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like them. Now I'm okay with them, but I mean, like for a while, I was like, no. So I'm like, no, I need foundation to cover them, all my rosy cheeks.
And so Dorothy, she just asked a question. I didn't see what it was.
Says, how do I get my face on now? I have no video. And then she says, May, what am I?
Be careful, May.
I feel like Dorothy's around too, because she's got cute cheeks. But what do you think, May?
I don't know if May's there.
Oh, okay.
I am here. I'm just
there
on
you are.
Facebook looking for a picture of her.
I think I'm oval.
Yeah, I think you are too.
Perfect.
She's either round or oval. I don't know. On the picture I see on Facebook, she kind of looks a little oval, but she could be round. It just could be the way the picture is kind of like sideways.
I'm not sure if I've ever seen Dorothy.
See,
on
now there's
video.
another picture now, and she looks round in that picture. Yeah, I'd say round. The picture I was looking at, she's like on an angle, so I'd say she's round.
Well, this is kind of exciting because we pretty much have a face for every face shape. So that's going to be fun. So that's for me for face shapes for right now. I'm going to pass it on to Karen so she can talk about what she wants to talk about now, and she can do some now and some later. I'm going to let her do what she wants.
Okay, well, what do you want me to start with? Some now, some later. You want me to start with eyebrows? I feel like eyebrows are like where we should start. What do you
Yep,
think?
I
Okay.
agree. Yeah.
Okay. Are you okay if I leave you up here? Because I figure we might as well both be here.
Yep, I'm totally
Okay.
fine. I'll just mute myself so if
Okay.
any noises come up.
Sure. So eyebrows, you guys, y'all know that I love my eyebrows because my eyebrows did not live through the 90s. I don't know if you guys know what that's all about, but in the 90s, there was this big thing where everybody overplucked their eyebrows and mine did not survive. And I know you're probably looking at me like, yeah, they did. They're right there on your face. Well, this is a tattoo, my friend. So I've had some work done to my eyebrows because I like them to be just a certain way. But and that was really to save myself time because we do have some amazing brow products. And so one of them that I really love is this brow definer pencil. And I'm going to show you just how to use this guy. And then I love to set everything with our volumizing brow tint. And I really love these new products because we didn't really have these before in Mary Kay. We just kind of had like a clear setting gel and then a sharpening pencil. And the colors are way better now. But what I want to tell you about with eyebrows is they're really a frame for your eyes, right? And they're not twins. So they're never going to be the same. In fact, I don't know if you can tell, but one of my eyebrows is actually longer than the other. It's this one. This one is longer than this one. And so this one is like a compact version of this one. So they're related, but they're not the same. And it's the same when you're filling in your brows. You don't want to try and make them look like twins because if you do, you're going to look a little bit funny. Because I don't know if you guys ever did that thing that they do in school where you take like the mirror and you reflect your face. It looks a little strange when your face is like, you know, a mirror image one side to the next, right? It does look a little odd. So, you know, there's a little bit of difference between the left side of your face versus the right, and your eyebrows kind of follow suit. Now, one thing I want to tell you about is that your eyebrows are basically geometrically related to the rest of your face. Did you guys know that? Yeah, I see like one nod. So the reason I tell you that is because when we say that they're actually a frame, they are in fact a frame, and we anchor our eyebrows by mapping them to our eyes, right? And one way that you can do that is to take the brow definer pencil and you can put it next to your nose here and run it through the inside corner of your eye. And wherever that lines up, that's where your eyebrow should start. And then you take that same pencil and you put it at the outside of your eye and you run it through the center part of your eye. And where it crosses through your eyebrow, that is now where the arch of your eyebrow should fall. And then if you do that again and you put it to the outside corner, then that's where the tail of your eyebrow should land. And by doing this, you make sure that your eyebrows always anchor properly and are the right size for your face, right? Because that's the thing, is you want to make sure that they're not too long. Because I'm sure we've all seen those people who have eyebrows down here, they have eyebrows up here. It can look a little interesting if you're not exactly sure how to anchor them properly. So that's what I like to do. And I tweeze them a little bit, kind of underneath to create some shape, but I never tweeze on top. You don't really want to tweeze on top unless you've got some crazy stuff happening up there. You want to kind of leave them alone. And really, you know, if you want to create more definition, you can use your pencil to align them to create more pop or definition in that top line. So there's a couple of different kinds of brows really out there, or classifications of brows. So you've got sparse brows, which is me, because like I said, this has been fixed. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's very, very little hair on my eyebrows. So that's what you call sparse eyebrows. And there's an opportunity there to use some short wispy strokes to fill in your eyebrows. And I'll do a little bit of that in a second. And then you have ladies who have more thick eyebrows. And then you've got bushy brows as well. So you've got somebody joining here. Here comes Cindy. So I would say that Vanessa's probably blessed in the brow department. She's got pretty thick brows. She's pretty lucky. It looks like she ignored that whole over plucking thing that happened in the 90s. I wish I did, because they totally didn't grow back.
No,
but yeah.
I did.
Me too.
It. I just was tortured for a long time because they still plucked me. I just had a lot of brows for them to pluck. So
Oh gosh. Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to get mine waxed. And one thing, so I mean, there's a number of ways that you can really look after your eyebrows. So one of them is by waxing and having them trimmed. But I want to encourage you not to wax if you can avoid it, because waxing will actually age your eye area, right? Because it's tugging. And anytime you tug at the skin here, it's really gentle, or sorry, fragile all around your eye. But if you do any waxing or anything like that, it can actually contribute to a hooded eye over time because it pulls at the skin and you end up with excess skin there. So I'd encourage you, if you're going to do any cleaning up of your brows by removing hair, then you want to do that either with threading or you want to do it with plucking, which sounds like not a fun time, but that's what I still do. I use tweezers. And in fact, on occasion, and I know that any brow artist out there would gasp with me with what I'm about to say, but sometimes I just get out my razor blade and I just like clean it up because it makes it smooth, right? So yeah, thank you for putting up your hand and admitting that you do the same thing. So in terms of brows, there are stencils out there. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the stencils in store. I don't really recommend buying a stencil, but you can recreate the look of a stencil without that. So these are a couple of stencils. I'm just going to hold them up so you can see while I'm talking. But the first one is a medium arch. Actually, that's not the first one. This one is the medium arch. This is the most natural looking brow. You can see that the arch is not overly defined. And then you've got a full arch, which is more like my eyebrows because I really like them to be specific and I like to have an ombre look. And then you've got big and bold, and the big and bold really doesn't have a really definite arch. They're just a little bit more sporty, more youthful, and least arched for sure. All right, so we talked about eyebrow shapes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you on one eyebrow. I guess I should have probably not put on my eyebrow makeup, but it doesn't really matter. So this is our brow defining pencil. And I just want to tell you a little bit about color, right? Because one thing is that, like, I have blonde hair naturally. I know that you probably don't believe me, and that is okay. But I actually do have blonde hair naturally, but I don't use the blonde brow pencil because I find it's too faint for me. We do have a fabulous blonde brow pencil because it doesn't have an orange undertone. It's very ashy, and I love that. And it's great for ladies who have really, really, really light blonde hair, or for ladies who have more of a silver tone to their hair. But I actually do quite a bit of dyeing. So my roots are dyed usually when it's not COVID. And I often have my hair dyed silver or like a stainless blue. And when I do that, I want to make sure that I don't have this warm brown brow happening because I feel like it doesn't match, right? So I like to use, this is dark brunette, and it's a real ashy kind of pencil. But we do have blonde, we have dark blonde, we have brunette, we have dark brunette, and then we have black brown. And so I would tell you that the dark blonde is a little bit more on the strawberry blonde side of things. Brunette is a really warm brown. It's beautiful, but it's a little warmer. It's got a little bit more red undertone in it. And the dark brunette is really more ashy. So what I like to do when I'm doing my brows is I take this guy out and I don't anchor because I kind of know where everything goes now. And also it helps that somebody kind of put the lines on for me. So I just kind of follow the lines a little bit. But having said that, I mean, if actually, you know what, maybe I'll take off one brow so you guys can see what I'm talking about. La, 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 still here.
Yeah, and for me, I have very dark hair. So you gals who have dark brows, we got to be really careful because I sometimes go between the dark brunette and the black and brown, depending on what kind of look I want and what color my hair is. Because with dark eyebrows, you can almost walk in the room, or your brows can walk in the room before you. So you got to be very careful and very strategic when doing darker eyebrows, because you just have to have enough, not too much, but just enough, because if you put too much, you will see the eyebrows before you even walk in the room, right?
Oh,
They'll be just like,
absolutely.
wow, like, and
Absolutely.
not the wow you want.
And honestly, like the more dramatic your eye look that you're doing, the more defined and specific you're going to want your brows to be. So hopefully you can see the difference there. So that is just the ombre brow treatment that I've had done with no makeup versus a finished eyebrow, finished in my book. So now, if it were a Sunday, then I would probably leave my brows just like this and not finish them. And I might throw on a 5-minute face because, looking a little bit more casual, I don't want them to look overdone because then, like Vanessa said, then they enter the room before me. So not a problem I've ever had before, but it does happen on a Sunday if I'm just wearing CC cream in my brows. It's a little like, okay, hello, Bert. How's it going? From Sesame Street. No, you guys are a hard crowd. I have really weird humor, and like I'm watching Rebecca over here and she's like, you're not even funny, Karen. Anyways, okay, so I'm
just listening intently. That's all. I'm sorry.
it's
I'm
okay.
listening to what you're saying.
It's okay.
And
I'm
also
just
thought process. I think I'd be like probably a brunette. I think is what I never do my brows, to be honest.
no.
And it's because I'm too scared, because I'm like, I don't want to like overdo it, and I don't want to like underdo it, and I'm like, what do I say? So I just don't do them. I just leave them alone. And I have this thing where this one's a lot shorter than this one, and I'm like, I don't know how to fix it, so I just don't.
Right, and that kind of goes back to that whole idea of you don't want to make them match, right? You want to anchor them to your eye. You want to use the geography of your face to figure out where your brow should be, rather than saying, well, this one's shorter than this one. It doesn't really matter. What matters is how it falls on your face, and then that's where you do the work to fill it in and anchor it back on that geometry, right? So what I like to do is, I said already that I happen to like the more dramatic brow, but if I didn't, what I would do is I would take a pencil that's close to my hair color, and I would do short strokes to fill in where it's sparse. And then that would give you a bit more of a definition without looking overdone, right? But because I like to have a more done brow, what I do is I actually start with an underline. So here I go from the edge, inside corner, and I do a little bit more of a definite line across where I want my eyebrow to be. So yeah, I hope you can see that. And then I do another one over the top. And I'm not really drawing a line. I'm kind of like zigzagging it along, because I don't want it to be just like a straight line, but I want you to be able to see that it's pretty specific, right? And the one thing that I like to do is I like to compare them to make sure that one's not thicker than the other, because that also can look a little unnatural, right? So naturally, this one over here tends to be thicker because it's shorter. So if I looked at these and they didn't really match, I would probably go back over that top line a little bit and just make it a little bit more, right? And then what I like to do is I just kind of do short wispy strokes inside of that outline to fill it in. And for me, because I like the ombre look, I do a darker, heavier hand at the tail, and then lighter as I get in towards the inside part of the brow. Now you could skip the lining, like I said, and just do the filling in with your pencil. And then, you know, you would have a more natural looking brow for sure. And then I like to take our volumizing brow tint, and you know what, some ladies just need the brow tint. They don't really need all of the extra filling in. Now I use blonde in this one, which is kind of weird. Oh, I know you got it. It's okay. I'm just asking for feedback. It's just my weird humor, Rebecca. Don't feel like I was trying to put you on the spot, because I wasn't. So what I like to do with the volumizing brow tint, I love this, right? Because this one has this great little spoolie. So it actually coats your brows really, really well. Whereas the old one was like a mascara one. So I really love this one. And what I like to do is I like to kind of backtrack to really coat my brows and then brush it back into place. And you know, like on a Sunday when I'm not doing a full out brow look, this might be the only thing I put on just to keep them in place, because they kind of grow a little wild. All right, let me check my notes, see where we are.
Question. So when you brush or comb your eyebrows and stuff, do you comb them like this way, or what? How do you do it? Like, what do you do?
When you're combing them, like just on your eyebrow to kind of clean them up,
Yeah.
you just brush it
Go
through.
this way?
Oh, and that's the other thing that you can do actually, is once you've filled them in, you can brush this spoolie through to kind of make them look more natural, right? To really take some of the pencil and draw little, like, you know, hairlines in them, almost like give them some texture by brushing through. But yeah, I just kind of follow the way they grow. I try not to back them up. I try to follow the way they grow. The only time I back them up is with the volumizing brow tint, so that I coat each individual hair, right? Because that helps it to volumize. And then sometimes what happens is when you've got closer set eyes, your eyebrow won't necessarily start in the correct place, right? It might start kind of a little bit out from your eye. And the way to do that corrective work is really to anchor it, right? To take it in and anchor it a little bit further in, like not all the way in, but you're going to draw a little bit more onto the beginning of your brow. And same thing when they're wide space, they may not end where you want them to, and they may be kind of further in their start. So you wouldn't bother kind of defining the inside part of your eyebrow in that case, but you would define the outside, right? To pull them back out and to fill in according to that geometry. See if I missed anything here. Oh yeah, so you know what the other thing is, we've got brow pencils, which are fabulous, but we also have some eyeshadows that you can use to fill in your brows if you like a more soft kind of look. And you know, some of the colors, and some of these are older colors, but things like hazelnut and driftwood are nice on light blonde and blonde hair colors, or espresso is nice on a darker eyebrow, or coal if you've got black hair, but you have to be very light-handed with coal because it can be pretty smoky and intense, right? But again, the intensity of your eyebrow really does become tied to the intensity of the eye look that you're going for. Because obviously you want it to be a bit of a balance, right? Between how much color you have on your eyelid versus how much color you have framing your eyelid. You know, if you've got a real crazy smoky eye, you don't want to have a super light eyebrow, right? So the other thing that I really love to do with my brows is I love to highlight them a little bit. So this will be part of my eye lesson later, but I like to take a light color eyeshadow and I like to highlight the brow bone because I feel like it just kind of makes them pop. And one thing you can do is you can use an under eye corrector to really conceal them and box them out so that they're like, you know, a pop of your eyebrows, or you can take a highlighter color like this light color here. This one happens to be Blossom. You can use your all over brush, pick that guy up like that, and really just place it kind of in that spot there under your brow. And it just kind of gives them a bit of a lift, right? Makes them a little sharper. Any questions? I think that's it, Vanessa, on eyebrows. I feel like I talk about eyebrows for a year.
I love when you do eyebrows. I just sit and listen. I always learn something. I love listening to her do eyebrows. What do you think, ladies? Like, she's fantastic at it. It's like her jam. That's what she calls it.
Sorry, what
Yep, I agree.
shade eyeshadow did you use under the brow? I know you mentioned under eye corrector, but I missed what shade you said.
So
for the,
under your brow, you can use something sparkly, or you can use a matte color. The one that I just used was Blossom, and it's more of like a pinky white color, and it's matte. Usually I like to take like a moonstone or a, not crystalline so much because I have more of a beige tone skin. Like if you were ivory, you might use like a crystalline here and maybe on the inside of your eye. We'll talk about that again after. I see how I want to like cross right over into eyes, but I don't. But yeah, you can use a little sparkle here. Even from the new summer quads, you can take the lightest color in the quad and you can even use a little bit of that under your eye. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a little intense, so you got to be not heavy-handed about it, right? Like if I was going to take this one because I'm really addicted to the warm pinks, then I would pick up a little bit of that and I would just take it underneath here. And it'll look a little bit pink until you do the rest of your eye. But as long as it's sparkly and it's the highlight tone in the palette that you're using, you're good.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions you have for Karen before I move to the next? We're good? Okay. So, ladies, now I told you before that the most preferable face shape is oval, but don't be sad if you don't have an oval face because it doesn't matter. We can make it appear more oval shaped, any face shape that we have with some highlighting and contouring. So don't worry about it. And honestly, there's many ways to do. I'm going to move into highlighting and contouring. That's what I'm doing with face shapes, just so you guys know. There are so many ways that you can contour and highlight a face. right? You can use foundations, different colors of foundations. You can use concealers, and you can use powders, and you can use actual highlighting and contouring powders, right? So there's so many ways to do it. Just remember, the thing to remember when you're contouring and highlighting, that everything you highlight or lighten comes forward, and everything you contour or darken goes away from you. So I'll say that again. Everything you highlight or lighten comes forward, so it'll come forward, right? Just like how on her brows, the brows come forward. You seen when she was doing that, it brought the brows forward. Everything you contour or darken kind of goes away. And I'm going to show you when I do my face, when I highlight and contour, what the difference is. You'll notice a dramatic difference. That's why I wanted to do it on screen, to show you that. So by contouring your face, you kind of pull it forward in areas that you want to pull it forward in, right? In places like you want to see or make it more oval. So that's what you're highlighting. You're highlighting the features to bring it more oval, and everything else of the other areas, you're contouring back. So the highlight brings your face more forward to be oval, and then the contouring makes everything else sort of disappear, right? And it's crazy how just the highlighting and the contouring colors can actually change your face, right? From when someone's looking at you, it's amazing. So what you're trying to do is minimize the fullness around the outer edges. So what I call it is contouring is like getting rid of these little fat places right here for me. This is what I love to contour away. Make it just go bye-bye. Right? And it's so your face doesn't look more fuller, it looks more oval. And it makes your face look slimmer. It's crazy. Like you can contour your face and highlight your face, and you can actually make it look slimmer if you'd like. You don't have to, but you really can, right? And I love that about contouring, and that's why sometimes I do it in pictures and stuff. People will be like, wow, you look fantastic. I'm like, yep, I'm highlighted and I'm contoured. Right? And it just looks natural, right? So that's what I like about it too. Highlighting and contouring should just look like your face. It should look like a natural face. You shouldn't be able to see it, right? Like you shouldn't be able to look at someone and say, ooh, she did I think a highlighting and contouring job. I'm not really sure, right? We're not trying to do like the Kardashians, right? Because you can tell they highlight and contour their face. Well, I don't want you to be able to tell. I want you to look at me and think, ooh, she's beautiful, right? Like, I don't want them to know that I highlighted and contoured, right? So again, contouring pushes things back, highlighting brings them forward. So one thing to know too is when you're dealing with customers and stuff like that, is to know their skin tone. So ivory and beige, you need to contour more than you need to highlight, I find, right? So with an ivory and beige skin tone, I find you do more of the contouring than the highlighting. Now it's opposite on bronze and ebony skin. You need to highlight more and then contour, right? You highlight more and then you want to contour. So it's the opposite. So remember that when you're doing, talking to somebody about contouring and so forth, that it depends on their skin tone too. It really does, right? And so you want to make sure that you don't highlight ebony skin or don't contour it too much, because you don't want to take it away, right? You want to bring it forward. So you want to highlight that beautiful skin tone, right? And with ivory and beige, it's just, it's amazing like how it's different and changed, but that's how it is. It looks beautiful, right? Okay. So honestly, Mary Kay's got some really good stuff on the In Touch website. Ladies, I'm so impressed and so pleased to have that, because you have that at your fingertips. So like, you don't have to know all this sort of stuff. You could have that in front of you when you're talking to your customer, right? So you'll look like an expert and she won't even know that you're just reading it off a piece of paper, right? So You just go on In Touch. I recommend that you start playing around with some of the simple ones that they have on the Mary Kay website. So there's 2 of them. And if you go under, and I think it's under products, and I want to say it's under the contouring kit, like all the Beauty Moments kits we had before, they're still in there under products, and all the slips and sheets and paperwork is all under there. So I'd go under the contouring one and just print off these 2. So this one is the simple 3-step contour, right? And I would play around with it with your own face, right? And this is the other one too. So this one here is actually in the little booklet. It's a 3-step contouring also. And if you notice on here, it's got little lines. It's pretty much great for every face shape, but it's not perfect, right? So, but I would start with this with yourself and maybe with your customers too, because you can play around with it. If you do the same thing on every face, you'll see the different looks it gives, right? So make sure you go on and check this out, because it's got step-by-step and it's really simple to do. And it's the simple contour, right? It's just a step-by-step for each person's face. Because what it'll do is it'll help build your confidence, right? And before you get onto face shapes and everything else, if you do a simple contouring, it'll build that thing. And maybe someone just wants a simple one. Maybe they don't want their face shape contouring done. Maybe they just want something that's easy that they can remember. But I always say go to the face shape, because it will make a dramatic change, right? And they'll look at it and think, this is beautiful, like it looks natural. So one of the other things I like to tell people when they're contouring is blending is your best friend. Blend, 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 blend. And I always have 2 brushes. I have one I use and one that if I put too much color on, what I'll show you today, I take it off with this one or blend it with this one, right? So just an FYI, I always have 2 brushes just because, right? Like I like to make boo-boos, and plus I do bashes where I actually show them beauty mistakes on too much contouring and how to fix it, right? So it can be just as easy as a clean brush, right? So you can blend it in with a clean brush and get rid of a lot of that color. Same with blushes. Ladies, if you're talking about blushes and stuff like that, blending is your best friend. Eyes, everything. Blend, 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 right? Because honestly, you'll love it. Okay, so, and the other thing that is on Mary Kay's website is like all the contouring by face shapes. Like, hello, thank you, Mary Kay. Like, that's amazing. And like, if you didn't want it, it'll tell you specifically like your face shape. Like, I just think Mary Kay is awesome, right? So I'm going to do a contour look on a long face to show you exactly what I do to make my face more oval. And I'm going to use pretty dark colors because it's sometimes hard to see on Zoom, the colors, right? So I have all my colors in here. And just a tip, ladies, you ever have a hard time cleaning these compacts? You know, the spray that you put on your brushes, spray it on there, it brings them like shiny shine. Just an FYI. I did it today. I was like, ooh, look at that. Look how clean and pretty. It looks like the compact it's supposed to be.
Smart.
Yeah. So just so you know, and I have my blushes and contours in here, but I'm going to use the darker colors just to really bring out the color and show you. Okay. And this blush brush, oh my gosh, you can use everything on this one brush. Like, thank you, Louis Casco. Like, thank you for talking to Mary Kay about these brushes. And like, you can get even more intense, right? And blending and stuff like that. Like, this is a beautiful brush, ladies. And what I do is everybody uses it a little bit differently on how they use it. So for me, I use the highlighter on the outside, right? I use the contour in the inside, and I use a blush here. So for today, I'm just going to use the actual highlighting, contouring, and blush colors that come with the Mary Kay stuff. I plan on doing more of these makeup tutorials and more intense ones, but they really need to be done by themselves, like to really get into contouring with different liquid foundations and stuff like that. So that'll be another course that comes up in this year sometime. So just to let you guys know, you can look forward to some future ones too. but I'm just going to, for today, just show you with our amazing highlighting, contouring colors and what it looks like. Okay, so I have an oblong or long face. So what I like to do is I like to, again, this is pretty much on every makeup artist. It's so many different ways of doing it. I like to go dark first and then bring in the light, because I like to cancel out everything I don't want and I'm hiding, and then bring in the light to really pop my face. So I'm going to do the contour first, and I think it is Cocoa. So it's going to be really dark on me, ladies. I'm going to really show you. And honestly, if you really want to bring out the colors and the contours, you could tap it with finishing spray, but I don't want to do that because I like to blend them in and then add more where I need to add more and all that goodness, right? So that's just me. So on an oblong face, you want to contour your forehead because it's longer, right? So you want to kind of cut it off here and your chin. But with me, I like to get rid of all this lovely beautifulness off my face too. So I'll actually be doing this whole area down here and here, okay? So with this, you just kind of go like this, right? And then I'm gonna go all under here, right? And then you kind of blend it in, right? And what I do is with the bottom, I like to make it a little darker because I like to get really rid of all that under here area. And that's why I'm saying you blend it, right? Because you really want to blend it. Like you don't want to go like this. This is beauty mistake number one. Just doing this because that doesn't make it go away. Right? And what I do is you see, I put the color like that and then I blend it into my hairline. So what I like to do is I really like to blend it into my hairline and see how it's not really blending because I got color on here still. It's when the magical new brush comes in. And so you just kind of start blending it, right? I like to do the little twirlies because I find it helps blend better. But you really want to get it focused on with an oblong face. See how it's sort of disappearing now? Right? And then you kind of blend through it. You look at your face and think, well, is that really as dark as I needed? Or did that really make it go away? You know, but it does. Like it really does, ladies. It will make certain things disappear. Now you're seeing under here, it's already starting to go away. Right? And don't worry if you're looking at it and thinking, okay, it's not quite blended. Bring your highlights, bring in the other blush colors. It all comes together. So don't worry about when you're looking, you can always continue to blend. That's the thing. People think, okay, I blended it enough. I don't want to blend anymore. But until you put the highlighter and the blush on, you really don't know if that's enough, right? If that's enough coverage, enough color, enough everything. So ladies who are ivory and a lighter beige would usually use the glazed and the honey glow. Those are the two colors that would really look great on your skin tone. Now the ladies for more of a darker skin tone, maybe a darker beige, like sometimes in the summertime, I'm more of a cocoa and and the honey glow, right? Sorry, I said that wrong. The first one is glazed and latte, and the second one is honey glow and cocoa. You would want to use those colors because honestly, like it's beautiful. So now if I was more of an ebony skin, I wouldn't be necessarily doing my contouring the same way, right? Because you want to bring your face more. I would be, but I would use less. Right? Less of it, less contouring, and more bringing the highlight and bringing your oval face. Like I would really be highlighting, if that makes sense. And okay, so I'm going to put some highlighter on. So remember I put it up here. And so for oblong face, you just want to highlight this area because you want to bring the attention to the middle of the face. So I like to highlight in here. Sometimes I do a little on the top of my cheekbone here, not under the under eye, but just right on top here and right here. That's how you find things. Smile. That's where you find all your bones and your cheeks and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes I like to give it a little summer glow here. And sometimes I'll even kind of give it a little like this, just to kind of bring everything forward. My eye look, everything forward, and then a little under here. Right? Because what you're doing is you're bringing the oval face out, right? And so if you're finding it's not enough, then you add more, right? But with highlight, you don't want to bring it too much in, right? Like you don't want to bring it into here. You want to bring it out, right? That's the other thing when you're highlighting or contouring everything, nothing should pass your nose, like at least a finger, if not 2 fingers out, nothing should come past here. Right? Because you want to bring your face in, but you don't want to bring it in like this. You don't want to close it almost, right? So you're kind of highlighting and so forth. So next I use a blush, and I'm going to use a Wineberry just because why not? Like, so you guys can really, really see it. So I use the Wineberry in the middle, and for with a oblong face, you kind of want to cut it. Like you don't want to look like a tiger. So don't make sure you blend it really well, but you kind of want to cut up your face and make it more oval and make it more friendly. So with blushes, I always say smile, and these are your apples, right? So you know your apples. Don't go anywhere closer to your face than 2 fingers, because if you bring it in here, trust me, it doesn't look right. I don't know why, but it just looks like, okay, what is happening with her face? Why is it pink here? Right? You want it to look like a sun-kissed look. So with the good thing with oblong is that you just go sideways like this. It's really easy to put blush on, right? Because all you do is go on your cheekbone, right across, right into your hairline, just like this, right? Because you're trying to break up the face, right? See, little color. And then we just I want a little more under here, and a little more blending over here, right? Can you guys see the difference? Or do I just look the same? So hard when you're doing it on camera. But this is all I ever do with an oblong face. This is how it just goes on. Simple, easy pie, right? So now do you see I'm a little more oval than I was before?
Yeah.
Right? And like it pulls back different layers. Even my forehead looks shorter, right? So I'm going to tell you how you would do your face shapes. So for all you oval girls, oh my goodness, you guys got it great, right? But you still want a little contouring, maybe to make your cheeks pop a little more. So with oval face gals, you really only have to contour right here. And it's just under your cheek area, your apples of your cheek, because you just want to make your cheekbones stick out a little more, right? And you put your blush right here, like a cute little blush, right into your almost into your hairline too, right? So right here, and then I would highlight here and here, and that's it. You guys are good to go. So you gals are lucky because you don't have to hide anything. But if you want to hide stuff, you can totally hide stuff. Like I like to hide here. So I love when my chin just kind of somewhat disappears. It makes me happy. So if you want to, you can still do that too as an oval face too. A square doesn't, well, square is a little different. Okay, so for all you round face beauties, we're gonna have fun with contouring with you because you guys are so much fun. So with contouring with you, you want to do the highlighter here and here, right? So you would do right here and right here. And with contouring, you kind of want to make your face more oval and it's round, right? So you're going to contour here, right into the hairlines, right? And you're going to contour right under the cheeks, like the oval, to bring your cheeks out, those cute little cheeks you guys have. And you're going to do it under here too, just to give you more of an oval than a round shape. So you're going to do here right? A little under here and under here. Okay. And then you're going to put a little cheek color right here. And then for you lovely heart shapes like May, I think May's our only heart shape. So heart shapes are similar to round. So the heart shapes need to contour here, really contour under here to bring out the cheeks, right? Really contour under here. And then your chin here, because you're trying to make it so it's not so tapered down as a chin. So you really want to get contouring under here. Now you're going to highlight here, right, to bring your face forward. And you're going to highlight here because with a heart, right, it goes like, it's kind of goes in a slim kind of tapered face. So you kind of want to bring that out a little, right? You want to brighten that up. So you would highlight here, and then you would put your cheek color like right here, right? So you would highlight, cheek, contour, contour, highlight, and contour. Then on a square face, which is so much fun too. I love doing different shaped faces, ladies, because you gets to know the different face shapes. Once you do a couple of your customers' faces, it'll build your confidence to be able to do anybody's face, right? And you won't even after a while think about it. You'll just look at them and think, okay, she needs a little hair there, and brings her face up, right? So if you just look at everybody as an oval face, you'll see where you have to do the work. Right? So when you look at somebody, just think, okay, oval's there. So I need to hide that, bring this forward, bring a little forward here, or highlight or take away a little there, right? Because remembering when you're contouring, you're trying to bring stuff or hide stuff, bring it back. When you're highlighting, you're bringing it forward. So that's what I always say, just look. And that's why I said to do it in the mirror, because then it'll really kind of give you an idea of your face. And then you could actually do an oval, right? You could color in an oval and then see, okay, I need to shade this out. I need to do this. I need to do that. And it could help you actually figure out how to contour your own face. So a square face is contour here, right? But you're going to contour to a point. So you're not just going to contour right across. You're going to almost like a triangle, right? Right here. And then you're going to contour here because you want to soften up the square of the bottom jawline area. So you want to just soften it up a little. So ladies, it's not a problem to contour under hair for everybody, honestly, I think, right? Because, you know, we have all these little love chins, then we can get rid of those. And then you highlight here, across your forehead here, and you're going to highlight just above your contouring, right? And you're going to highlight a little bit here. And then your blush is kind of like a little cute little on your apples, right? So you're going to highlight right there. And those are the face shapes. And I think, Karen, do you want to go into yours or do you want me to keep going?
What's next if I go into mine?
I was going to do blushes, but I can do blushes after you do eyes if you want.
I mean, I can start with eyes and then we can, yeah, you know what, let me talk about eye shape for a little while and then you can do blush. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So one thing about eyes, because I mean, you know, it's not fun if everybody has the same, right? There are a lot of different eye shapes. So we've got standard eyes, which is pretty much me. I pretty much have standard eyes. They're starting to get a little bit hooded here as I age. You've got close set eyes, which are eyes that are placed a little bit closer together. So it says eyes are narrower than one eye width apart, because that's really the geometry of your face, right? Your eyes should be, you know, basically thirds away from each other, if that makes sense. You should be able to fit another eye in the center. That would look really funny, wouldn't it? But that's how you know how your eyes are spaced. If you can fit less than one eye in between your eyes, then they're close set. And if you can't, or sorry, if you can fit more than one eye in between them, then they're wide set. Hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of a weird thing to imagine a third eye, but anyway. So yeah, there's different techniques depending on the way your eyes are placed on your face. So we've got standard eyes, we've got close set eyes. There's also droopy eyes, and droopy eyes are eyes that kind of, the corner here kind of come down a little bit, right? They're not necessarily almond shaped like mine are. Maybe the edge would be down a little bit. And then you've got deep set eyes, which are eyes that are deeper placed into the socket. So there's a smaller mobile lid available for you to put eye makeup on. And then you've got protruding eyes. So those are ladies that their eyes are a little bit more prominent. And they kind of bulge a little bit from the socket to the lash. And so they're a little bit more fussy in terms of putting on eye makeup. And then you've got hooded eyes, which is where you've got extra skin starting to droop a little bit over top of the socket line. And this happens with age. That happens to everybody. And also there's Asian eyes that fit into that same kind of category that we call hooded, but I'm trying to remember the name for it. There's some crazy name for it. Why can't I remember? Anyways, oh no, I almost had it. It's gone. Anyways, Asian eyes kind of fold into themselves, and hooded eyes just have a bit of a droop to them. And so it's not a good or a bad thing. It's just a different technique in putting on your eye makeup. So you don't have to do the sad face, Marilyn. It's okay. Some people have hooded eyes even if they haven't aged at all. So. And then last up, we have wider set eyes. So that's eyes that are farther apart. So that's what I was talking about. If you can fit more than one more of your eyes in the middle there, then they're more widely spaced. And so it changes the technique. And then you've got the actual physical shape of the eye. So there's the almond shape, there's a round shape, there's that more droopy one that I mentioned. And those really cover off your eye shapes. And then I want to talk quickly about eye colors, and then maybe Vanessa will get into cheeks. So I know probably the next most asked question is, how do I choose the right color for my eyes, right? So typically the rule of thumb is that you pull out a color wheel and you decide based on what is opposite to your eye, so that you know what is the right contrasting color. And it depends really on the look that you're wanting to go for, right? So eyeshadows are really versatile. You can use them as liners as well as shadow. Sometimes liners can be a bit harsh on certain skin tones and eye colors. So, you might want to select accordingly just based on that. But the rule of thumb generally is that if your eyes are blue, then you're wanting a liner that is either like a warm brown or a taupe to make your eyes pop, right? Without being like, oh my gosh, that lady has eyeliner on, right? You don't want your eyeliner to enter the room before your eyes. And then when you're choosing a shadow and you have blue eyes and you're looking in the rich kind of warm browns or warm taupes, and you're wanting more of a reddy undertone. And I'm not saying red, but I'm saying red undertone because red is the opposite of blue, right, on the color wheel. And so you're getting more contrast when you're choosing colors inside of that family. And then if you have green eyes like I do, then you're wanting something that's more like a red, brown, or a taupe liner, or even purple. I like to use purple. And for shadows, you're going to use things that are like golden brown or warm taupes or deep purples. And depending on the base color of your eye, because you can have kind of a cool green or you can have a warmer green, like a warmer yellow green, you can start bringing in different kinds of like copper and amber colors and things like that that look really awesome. And then if you've got brown eyes, you're looking at more of a rich brown eyeliner. Vanessa, girls with warm brown eyes have more fun. I don't know. Anyway, so when you've got brown eyes, you're wanting to use, kind of a charcoal, a taupe, or a rich brown liner, something like our MK deep brown or MK black liner color, or even the gel liner that we've got as well. And then you would be selecting colors that are like a golden brown, a blue, even a green, light mahogany, chocolate, charcoal, purple. And I don't know if you can see this, but ladies who have brown eyes, they really do have more fun because they can choose really any eyeshadow color that they want, right? And then if you've got more of a gray, call it eye color, and these are usually ladies that are like, well, my eyes are kind of blue, but they're kind of not blue, they're more of like a gray, then you're wanting to do like a charcoal or a deep brown liner, and your shadows would be more of the charcoal, cool brown, kind of purple. So less reddy undertones, more cool undertones in terms of selecting eyeshadows. And don't worry, I'm going to show you a few options a little bit later on when I actually demonstrate some of the placement. So one thing to keep in mind is when you are doing your eyes, it's very much a highlighting and contouring experience, just like it is with the rest of your face. And so, you know, the placement of your liner is all dependent on the shape of your eye and what you're color correcting, if you will. But maybe I'll talk about that more when we start to choose colors and put them on my eyes so that I can demonstrate for you where things go. But I'm going to turn it over to Vanessa and she can talk about cheek colors. Yay.
Awesome. Thanks, Karen. That was great. I always love that because I started off with standard eyes myself. And as I aged, I have more of a hooded eye now. And it is a dramatic change in the placement of eye colors on your eyes. Even though I have fun brown eyes and I can pretty much do any color I want. They were actually darker than they are now. They were actually like almost black when I was younger. So now they're kind of a lighter brown or a darker brown. So you really do have funner because I literally can put anything on. I'm like, what am I gonna wear today? Right. So really there's no thought process behind brown eyes. You can pretty much do whatever you want. Right. So does any ladies have any questions or any comments or anything they want to say, or do you want to tell me what you guys think your eye shapes are just before I go into blushes? I know Marilyn said she's hooded like me. We're the hooded beauties, eh? Yeah, May's hooded too.
Yeah, I hate my hooded eyes right now.
Oh, don't hate them. I love on them. I just bring the color up. Come on, color.
I do too, but
I mean, that's the thing, right? It's really comes down to, I always hear, oh, I have hooded eyes. I have no idea how to put on eye makeup. And really, it's just about coming over top of that crease, right? And making sure that the color can show, because when you've got hooded eyes, I think sometimes we think, well,
Can you
why
see it?
bother? I can't see.
Can't see it.
Yeah.
Hard to see. I don't know how you guys get that everybody could see it.
No, I just bring it up until I see it. I start off down here and I just bring her up until I almost bring her up to the brow.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what
That's
I
how you
did
see it
too.
on me.
But I got brown on, so it's not showing up very bright today.
Do you want me to talk about placement before we go on to cheeks then, since we're here?
Yeah, might as well. Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, so I mentioned that I have standardized. So for me, usually I start with a highlight color. So I like to start with, I've got 4 colors here that I just kind of pulled. So we've got Candlelight, we've got, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of this again. Do you remember? Soft Heather,
Okay.
and I've got Sweet
Oh.
Plum, and then I've got Coal. So I'm gonna take the all over brush here and I'm just gonna actually pick up Candlelight, Candlelight, and I'm gonna put it all over. I can't believe I'm doing this without a mirror. Put it on the inside corner here. I'm gonna get my mirror. So, and I'm gonna do the inside corner of this eye. Brush it through. Now I'm wearing cream eye color, but that's okay. These all work together. So you always want to make sure that you use cream products first. So earlier I put color, call it, underneath my eyebrow. So I'm gonna take that Candlelight and I'm actually gonna highlight under there first. I like to start with highlight. I don't really know why. It's just kind of my thing. I use it again at the end too to blend. Here we go. And then when it comes to that crease color, this is where it becomes different for your hooded eyes versus standard eyes. So I love this brush. I don't know, guys, if you've had a chance to play around with this brush, but this is our crease brush from the Mary Kay Professional brush set. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the Soft Heather, and I'm just going to park it, like literally park it, pointing up towards my eyebrow, because one thing that is really important when you're doing eye color is to make sure you anchor it in that same angles that you're doing with your eyebrow, because you don't want it to pull your eye down. You want it to pick it up. It's the same thing if you've got that droopy eye, you would just place this just so that you're picking your eye up. So the eye color is pointing towards the tail of your brow. And I think that's really the thing that makes a difference, right? In terms of where it goes when you're dealing with a droopy eye. And so I'm gonna actually just take this, I'm gonna pull it in a little bit. And this is where it's different, right? So for me, I would just pull it across my crease. But if I had hooded eyes or more hooded eyes than mine, I would just bring it across higher so you can see it. So hopefully you can see that,
Mm.
right? So there's soft heather. And then what I would do is you can use, you know, the smudger brush if you want. It's kind of up to you. I love the smudger brush, by the way. And I'm going to pick up this sweet plum. And then what I do is I like to park that in the outer V, kind of just do a V here in the outer section. It's almost like a little pocket, almost, where you park your color. And then you can get out that fabulous blending brush. Thank you, Luis Casco. And you can really just blend that all in, right? And that's a really quick 3-color eye. And then you could actually take the eyebrow brush, has this amazing liner brush on the other side. And you could take your sweet plum and you can do some liner work with that. Now, this is also where it becomes a little bit different with your eye shape, right? So now I'm just going to park this at the outer edge. But if I had close set eyes, what I would do is I would use a light color on the inside like I did with this eye on the inner corner, and then I would extend the outer corner. So I would bring this eye out a little bit away from my eye. I would bring it out, like bring out the color maybe a little bit further, but still pointing up towards my eyebrow, but I would bring it out further than the edge of my eye so that it draws your eye away from the center of your face. So it's a little bit of a highlighting and contouring, just like we talked about with the rest of your face, right? So if you've got close set eyes, you'll take the color out a little bit further and you'll do this highlighter on the inner corner. And then, you know, if you've got wider set eyes, then you would kind of do the opposite, right? You would bring the darker color kind of further in. Yeah, you would darken the inside hollow next to the bridge of your nose, and you would do a deeper color, right? And then if you've got those protruding eyes, what you want to do is use medium to deep colors. And the reason why is you're pushing the eye back into the socket, right? So on a protruding eye, you're not going to use a highlight color. You're going to use just kind of those mid or dark matte tones because you want to push it away in the field of view, right? It's just like in grade 6 art class when they taught us shading and highlighting. I don't know if you guys remember that. I always go back to like art class and I just think about, you know, what it was like to take a pencil and shade and then, you know, use different colors of crayon to like pull it forward. And it's the same thing with our eyes. It's just that we're using different colors, right? So remember that if you're using like, you know, even the sweet plum, it becomes a contour shade because it's dark. In the lighter ones that are sparkly, they bring things forward, right? So like the candlelights or the moonstones or the crystallines, right? And depending on which one of those you choose, it's related to your skin tone, right? Like, so for me, I mentioned earlier that I probably wouldn't use a candlelight. In fact, if I got, not candlelight, sorry, I probably wouldn't use a crystalline because it's really, really white. And I don't even, oh yes, I do. So I have one here in my palette. So for example, if I pick up crystalline and I put it as an under my eyebrow highlight here, it looks a little like, you know, kind of look like I'm in the 80s, right? I need some hairspray for my hair, I feel like, right? Whereas when I'm using the candlelight, it's a little more forgiving because I've got a beige undertone, that goldy kind of a quality about candlelight. If I pick that up and I put that all over this side and backwards, you can see it looks a little bit more natural, right? I think I got off topic, but anyway. I feel like I always go down this like rabbit hole of what am I actually talking about? Oh, I see. I'm doing the same side I did before. Okay, let's do the other side. I am backwards. So there you go. There's candlelight. And then, you know, if you've got deep set eyes, what you would do is you would actually take a highlight color and you would put it all over the lid because you want to bring it forward, right? You want that eye to pop. You want it to look like it's pulled forward in the socket. I don't know. The word socket is not really a attractive word, is it? Not really. But when I'm doing deep set eyes or brides that have deep set eyes, I would use a lot of highlighter here and I would put color, but just a little bit more frosty color, something like a little bit more festive, like a little brighter in the outer edge, just to pull it forward in your field of view. So, you know, like a rose gold even would probably be good depending on her skin tone. But yeah, I hope that helps. Questions? I'm sure there's got to be questions. I don't hear any questions.
I love it, Karen. See, I love watching Karen do eye shapes and stuff and brows. Like it's my favorite two items. That's why I got her to teach those two things because she's fantastic at it, at different eye shapes and different, colors and tones. And honestly, with the hooded eyes, ladies, and I'm almost a little kind of getting droopy here, my lids, right? So I like to do the same, like Karen said, make sure you don't go past the brow, but I actually take the under eye corrector and I actually bring it up here like this because it really does lift my eyes because I'm hooded, right? So, for all you hooded beauties, you can actually pick up your eyes almost like and do that. And it's the same with I'm finding on as I get older, I'm not using as much sparkle. You can still use it though. I just place it in more my brow area and here, right? I don't put a lot of sparkle on my eyelids like I used to, and especially if I'm with hooded, unless I'm trying to really bring the attention to this area. But I love what Karen's teaching. Like, look at that purple and the green eyes, right? Like, oh, it just looks so beautiful, ladies. If you have any green-eyed girls, get them to put those new palettes we have. Oh,
Oh
they
my gosh,
just
yes, they're
pop.
beautiful, right?
Ah, right.
But
And those palettes are great for every eye color.
yeah, they are. I want to show you guys with just one more thing. I don't want you to be afraid to mix the tones of eyeshadows because I don't know if you see what I'm doing, but I basically just took Shiny Petty and slathered it all over the purple. So it gives you kind of like a purpley, goldy kind of smoke almost. And what you can do is you can use that all over brush. After you've put on your basic eye, you can use this all over brush and then you can start to press colors in to give them some more vibrancy, right? And another cool little tip is you can use your finishing spray and spray your brush. And when you do that, it actually picks up more tone, more pigment, and it deposits more pigment. So once you start to get into that, then you can kind of, layer in the colors. And it creates some uniqueness, right? Because especially for me, because I've got green eyes, of course, that oranges are like the opposite. Orange and red are the opposite of green, right? So when I start to add in that copper glow or shiny penny, it is, I want to call it copper glow, but it's not. And then you can bring back the purple. You've got both, call it opposites of green happening, and it can make for a really, really, really dramatic eye. But just go slow, and you know what? It doesn't matter because you can blend it all. I mean, we've got this fabulous blending brush, right?
Yeah,
There you go.
everything's blending. Blend, 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 blend. If you take anything from today, make sure that it's blending. Just gotta blend it. That's it, right? Like, and the same with like sometimes a customer will say, "Oh my goodness, that eye's too dramatic." Well, just blend it down. Just keep using your brush and keep blending it. And as Karen said, the other thing is for like anyone's with sparkle or shimmer or stuff like that, I like to deposit it on my eyelid. I don't like to necessarily like brush it on. I like to just press it on. It just gives it that extra sparkle, that extra stay power. I don't know what it is. It just seems to mix better, doesn't it, Karen?
Yeah, it really does. Because that's the thing is like especially the frosty ones, like if you're going to use something like crystalline, it really works better if you use that all over brush and you just press it on your actual lid. So I know we want to brush it on, but really, even when you do liner, like I'm using kohl right now to do liner. I'm using this brush and I'm literally just pressing it along my lash line, and probably on camera here, it probably looks like I'm using an actual liner, right? And that's just because you're depositing it instead of trying to drag it. So like that's not even liner, that's just kohl eyeshadow. So, I mean, using different techniques is how you're going to learn how it deposits. But see that, like, same thing, I just kind of had pushed it onto my skin because you're kind of pressing it in so that it sticks on. And I find the ones that are frosty, like, they don't grab that well. So it's like, if you really want something frosty to really, really stick on the skin, like the shiny penny here or this candlelight, then you need to really pick up quite a bit and then you can push it onto your skin. And that's where that finishing spray really comes in handy. You can press it in and create that blend. Oh, wow, I got quite a bit of makeup on now. I'm all ready to go out. Where am I going?
You on a hot date? Like,
I know, right?
I don't really have nothing on.
Someone should tell Clint to take me out somewhere.
I agree.
You know, he should send me by myself. I need a break.
There you go. Even better, right?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies. So if you have no questions, I'm going to go into blushes. Not everybody wants to contour, right? So sometimes people think it's too much. They're just not interested. But there's a way to kind of, with face shapes, use blushes, right, to your advantage and to your face shape that can really make a dramatic change too. And so I went through the blushes that we currently have, and I'll tell you for skin tone. So for like an ivory skin tone, you could use the hint of pink, the rosy nude, the rogue rose, darling pink would be really good, and juicy peach. Now for the darker ivories, you could use other colors, but those are the ones that I would stick to for an ivory skin, is the hint of pink, rosy nude, rosy or rogue rose, and darling pink, and juicy peach, because those will really bring out the skin tones and colors, right? And for beiges are pretty much, skin tones are pretty flexible in any of our blushes. Like you could pretty much use any color other than, no, you could pretty much use any of the on a beige skin tone, any of them. Wineberry would be a little dark if somebody's not used to the wineberry color, but you could still use it if you blended it and so forth. For a bronze skin, I would recommend using wineberry, desert rose, hot coral would be very beautiful on their skin too. So we have pretty much blush colors for every skin tone, and different color brushes. Like the wineberry is more of a pinkish color. The desert rose is kind of pink. Oh, I forgot about the golden copper. Golden copper would look beautiful on bronze skin. Beautiful as a blush. Absolutely beautiful, ladies. But you could also use it on the darker beiges too. But the hot coral is like a beautiful, it just brings out the beauty in the ebony and the bronze skin. It's just gorgeous, right? So those are the kind of the blush colors that you could use in different skin tones. And honestly, if someone likes a different color and it's not in what we have in the chart, go with it. Like she knows what she likes, what she loves best, but you could recommend certain colors for different skin tones, right? And say, oh, this would look gorgeous on you. This would look beautiful on you. This would, right? And what I like is the different tones that are supplied per thing. Like it's not all pink, right? So there's some peachy and some coral colors in there, some browns and pinks. And that really is nice for different seasons too. So how do you do blushes on a round face, right? So we're looking at the round faces now for blushes. So they don't want to contour, maybe they did contour and they're just thinking, oh, I just want to put a blush on, right? Like I don't want to go through the contouring or whatever. So in a round face, it often craves structure. So, and definition, right? Because it's just round. So it needs a little more structure, a little more definition. It's almost like you're faking a pair of cheekbones, right? On a round face, because their cheek area is almost like your whole face, right? I just want to pinch them, right? So you're trying to fake kind of like cheekbones on a round face, right? So on a round face, you would think, oh, well, how do I apply my blush, right? So on a round face, triangle. You don't want to go round at all. Don't go circly because the face is already round. So you want to apply it like a triangle. So what I would do is take my brush and put it in the blush, and I would just smile to see where I got to put it, right? And then I would bring it up and like this, right? Those kind of motions. Don't circle it because it's already round. You don't need to circle it, right? So I know everybody wants to circle it, so fight the urge, right? So that's where on a round face, I would kind of do it. Read into the hairline, right? So what it does is it kind of breaks up the roundness of the face, right? So a blush can do a lot on a person's complexion, right? Okay, so, oh yeah. Did I say it? Don't do it in circle rounds on a round face. Don't do it in the apple of the face. Don't make it rounder. Don't do it. Because it'll make your face rounder, right? So on a round face, remember triangle, right? And color it all in, triangle. Okay, so on an oval face, you're concentrating your rouge or your blush on the top of your cheekbone. So what that means is you got to smile, right? And there, okay, here's your cheeks. Here's the bone. You can feel it on your face, right? There's the cheekbone, right? So on an all oval face, you're kind of wanting to do it like this, right? And you can do round if you want to, like circles, right? But you're trying to lift it up. So in an oval face, it's almost like your blush is your contour, right? So you're trying to lift it up. So you would kind of go like this, not necessarily read into the hairline, but you want to just kind of read here, right? Because you feel your cheekbone. So you want to kind of go right there. Right? And you could go right in, you're trying to bring it to your temples almost, right? Like, you know how your temples are right here, right? So you're kind of bringing it up here, not under here, up here. Okay. But I like to do it like an oval. Cute little oval face. And what it does is it kind of lifts up your cheekbones, right? So on your oval face, it kind of just gives you a little more, like it accentuates the cheekbones. Okay, on us gals who are long face, remember? Do, 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 do. But you don't want it to be just like that. So kind of blend it in a little, right? But really, that's all you have to do, right to the hairline. That's the good thing about long face. You're just breaking up the length of the long oval face, right? So you kind of just want to go, remember, smile, because you don't want it too close to your nose, and it's right here and then right across, right into your hairline when you have an oval face, right? And you don't want to look like a tiger, so make sure it's blended well. I mean, if you want to look like a tiger, my bad, you can totally look like a tiger. But. And then on a square face, blush has the ability to soften, right? So it can soften those sharp, angular features of a square face. So to make it the most, apply the product with a blush brush, right? All of them you should really do with a blush brush. It just makes it easier. And you want to do a circular circle. So this is where you get to do the circle, right? You know how we all see it and all the makeup artists do it in the circle thing? Well, that must be all on square faces, square and heart faces, because you really shouldn't be doing it on any other. So I would pick up the color in the middle, right? The middle of the brush. And then I would feel on the face for your cheekbone, smile. This is your apple, right? And then you just little round, right? You just want to bring some color, some cute little color to your cheeks, right? Because you want to soften up the square, right? Because it's square, right? So you kind of just soften it up. So bring it in and bring those cute little cheeks up, right? And it's only on the apples. You're not bringing it into your hairline. You're not doing it anywhere else, just right here. So that it's easy to find. This is your square face, little apples, right? And then for our heart-shaped face, you want to draw away the attention to the strong jawline, right? Because on a heart face, they get pretty strong jawlines. So you want to bring that away, and you want to kind of do it above the apples. So on a square face, you don't necessarily want to do it right here. You want to bring it up just a little higher, because what it does is it really brings up your cheekbones, right? So here's your apples, right? So you just want to bring it just right, pretty much on the cheekbone, right? So you want to make sure it's right about here, right? So you're kind of breaking up that jawline, right? So it doesn't look like it's so here. You're kind of bringing it up and, you know, opening up your face. So pretty much here for, and you can do a circle motion on the heart face too. So when applying blush, make sure it's not too close to your nose. You really got to make sure of that because it does make a huge difference. Let me put some on and show you. So if I put blush, it just looks like my face is red, right? Like it doesn't do anything but make my face look like I'm red or it's angry or I have rosacea, or it just does not suit your face, right? Because what it does is it brings attention to there, but not the kind of attention you want. So you want to make sure that you literally at least a finger, if not two, depending on the size of your face, because some people have a smaller face. So you want to make sure it's at least a finger out, right? Or two. Because then that what happens there is it doesn't make it look like it's you're got a red face or you're having allergic reaction, or you know, maybe you got sunburnt, right? So it just accentuates, and what it does is it's almost like blush is a kiss of color from the outside. That's kind of how you know. Like, you ever notice that the kiss of color when you're outside in the sun too much is right here, right? So that's pretty much what blush is for. And don't apply under here, because it does the same thing. It doesn't make it look better. It actually makes you just look like you're having an allergic reaction. And with blush, don't worry if you put too much on, just blend, 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 blend. And sometimes, like for us girls, I can bring it to the hairline. Some of us will bring it up here too. Just gives it a little bit of blush color, a little thing. I usually do that at the end when there's really nothing left on the brush. I'll just kind of bring it up, right? So that's pretty much me for blush. Karen, did you want to go over the next thing, or I only have lips left?
I've really just got under eye correcting. You want me to talk about under eye correcting?
Yeah, sure. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So I always do this last. I don't know. Well, I shouldn't say I do it last. I kind of do it twice. But yeah. So one tool that we have in Mary Kay that's really amazing, and maybe I'll talk about creating a base too for your eye. And and I got to talk about mascara. Forgot about that. I don't have my primer. That's okay. I'll talk about it anyways. All right. So now that I've got my eye done, I kind of want to do some correcting, right? So, you know, one thing that can happen underneath your eyes is that you're going to run into ladies, if you're out doing makeup, who have a very severely bagged area under the eye. And so bag is really a couple of different things happening in the under eye area. One of them is lack of moisture. One of them can be from like eye rubbing, and the other is it's hereditary, right? So if you've got people in your family who have really, really heavy bags under their eyes, then typically that's something that's inherited. But there are things you can do to reduce the occurrence of that happening. One of them is don't rub your eyes. The other is don't rub your eyes. And the other is don't rub your eyes. And the fourth is use a good under eye cream. Did I mention don't rub your eyes? My mom used to tell me if I made that face, it would stay that way. Well, it turns out she's right. So don't rub your eyes, because this area here is made up entirely of a fatty pad that is all collagen. And do you know what age it is that we stop producing collagen? Or the production of collagen starts to decline. Do you know what age it is? Anybody? Guesses are welcome. It's a good guess, May. It's a good guess, Cindy. It's 15. At 15, your body starts to produce less collagen. And so what you need to do is you need to really protect the collagen that you do have. This fatty pad is all collagen, so we don't want to tug at it. We don't want to rub at it. And it's really, really important that you're very gentle. And that's one of the reasons why we use the ring finger and we pat our eye cream on, right? And your eye cream needs to be different than your moisturizer, because your under eye area needs a completely different kind of moisture, because there's no sebaceous glands here that doesn't produce its own oil, and it's super paper thin, right? So what happens is you can get dehydrated, and when you do, you tend to get these like blue lines, right? or also known as, lack of sleep when you're a mom like me. And we've got an amazing product for that. So one thing I want to talk about is our amazing hydrogel patches. If you've got a bride and you're doing her makeup, you may want to put on a hydrogel patch a little while before you go ahead and do her makeup, because you're going to want to have that humectant all absorbed, right? You don't want to have that kind of left behind so it displaces makeup, but you do want to rehydrate the eye area so that it accepts the eye products that you're going to put on. And then what you want to do is you want to treat any darkness under the eye with our under eye corrector. And so under eye corrector is not just concealer, right? It's so much more than concealer because it's got a reflective quality about it. And when we're talking earlier about highlighting and contouring, really this is a highlighting pen. So I have used this as a highlighter on girls who have more dry skin. Because if I have a bride that has more dry skin, then I'll tend to use more cream product on her because they don't look as dry or flaky. And even on those ladies, instead of using our foundation primer, I might use an intense moisturizing cream on top of her moisturizer to give a more even base. And I'll use it like a primer because, that's really the trick about what Vanessa was talking about in the beginning about knowing someone's skin type, right? Anyway, so this one is formulated specifically, in this peach color to cancel out that blueness we get under the eye. And so you can use it when you've got a lady who doesn't have any bags under her eyes. You would just put this wherever there's the darkness. And I like to put it up here too, because I find this picks up your eye, just like what Vanessa was talking about. And I also, if you're not 20, your eyelids start to darken as we get older. It's something they don't tell you. Thank you. There should be a manual. Hey. Anyway, I like to put this on my eyelid because I find that it helps to brighten up the color, and then I get a truer color payoff from my eye products. So I do like to do that. And then I put the eye primer on top of it. And you guys probably know this eye primer. This stuff, I love this stuff. It lasts like 5 years, doesn't it? I don't even know when I opened this tube. Anyway, but I put this on first and then I put that on top. So you can see what I've done here. I've put the under eye corrector on top. And then what I'll do is I'll take our blending brush. And you can use your finger or you can use the foundation brush, doesn't really matter. But I like to pat it in. And again, we're patting, right? We're not rubbing. Because I find like rubbing almost ruins the effect. So it really does brighten up what you've just done, right? And it's another great way you can kind of clean up any mistakes you made on your eye as well. Now, for some ladies, this is not the right color match. And if it's not, then you can put a concealer over top. And so for me, the concealer would be light beige I would put over top. And that will, give it a more natural look under. Oh, that's not the right color. That's ivory. I pulled the wrong one out. Yeah, just for fun. This is why you should know what your colors are, right? Anyway, so I'll blend this in. You'll see why it's important to have a good color match and why not everybody will have an under eye corrector sit properly under their eye. Oh, actually, it doesn't look too bad. Who knew? Maybe I am ivory. No. Anyway, so yeah, the under eye corrector, you want to use that kind of wherever there's the blueness that happens. If it's not the right color match for the skin tone that you're working with, that's okay. If you've got somebody who's bronze, then you would pull out your bronze concealer and you would put that on top. And if that wasn't quite the right match, you could always get back out the foundation brush and pat the foundation over top to cover it back up, because really it's not designed to be the finish. It's designed to be the piece underneath that cancels out that blue. Now, if you were dealing with a lady who had a very heavy under eye bag, what you would do is you would take the under eye corrector, and this is really important. If you guys, are you going to make notes, right? No. Thank you, Cindy. So what you want to do is you want to take this little applicator and you just would put it in the receded area of the bag, right? Whoops, I'm looking at the camera instead of my mirror. So you would put this just where the receded part is. And the receded part is the part that's kind of depressed in the skin, right? So you would put the under eye corrector there, and then you would pat it in. Right? And then you would take concealer and put it over top of the whole under eye area to blend it, right? Because sometimes what happens is the bag can be a little bit dark, so we want to even it out, but we don't necessarily need to make it pink, which is what will happen if there's no blue there, right? So we want to make sure that we use the under eye corrector in the depressed area of the bag, and then you want to put a concealer over top of the whole thing. And then, as if that's not enough, right? And then you want to set it, because otherwise it's going to move all over the place and we don't want that. So you would take your translucent powder, just a little bit like that. And you could even use the blending brush, a clean blending brush if you wanted, and just pick that up and just really put it on here. And I don't know, have you guys ever heard of baking? So this is where you might bake your makeup on, right? So you could take your translucent powder, take a bunch of it on the all over brush and let it sit here while you finish the rest of your face. And in fact, that's what I would do with a bride, is I would really let excess powder sit here and desiccate it so that it stays in place, right? Because that's really what the translucent powder does. And then when I'm done, I would just brush it away, right? And then that'll make sure that it stays where it needs to be. But under eye bags are really fussy. You got to be really careful that you don't put that under eye corrector anywhere but in that depressed area, because if you do, essentially what you're doing is you're making it bigger, right? And when we use a concealer, if you've got something that you want to push away, you almost want to use a darker concealer, right? So if that bag is really protruding, you might use a darker concealer over top of the bag and the under eye corrector, and then put foundation on top of it to push it all back. And you don't want to touch it too much either, right? Because you're kind of aggravating it when you're playing around with things. You need to be really light-handed. You use that under eye corrector in the depressed area, use a regular concealer on the rest, be very, very gentle, and then, add your translucent powder, put it on there, let it bake. And then you can also use that under eye corrector, like Vanessa said, kind of up the side here, almost as like a magic eraser for your eye. So if you make any mess ups, then you can, you can just clean it up. And you can even use, this guy is like one of the most versatile things. I call it sleep in a tube. Do you guys ever hear me say it was sleep in a tube? It's like my favorite product. It totally is sleep in a tube. Remember when Damon was a baby and I'm like, I don't need to sleep. I just use my sleep in a tube. Anyway, what you can do with this too is you can really block it in your eyebrows, right? So you can use it as a way to, outline your eyebrows and really kind of make them pop. Now, I've already done that because I've got a whole eye look on, but you can do that in the beginning too as kind of a prep stage. And then the next thing I want to talk about is eyelashes. I mean, we've got a lot of really great eye products. So our lash primer, which I don't have handy, the brushes are a lot different, hey? Like they're almost like little loops and they hold the primer in there and they're like, it's like almost gloppy, which is great. But I've sold a lot of them as clear mascara because it can really, really brighten up your eyes just with the mascara look without being crispy or like a full mascara. So I really like to use the primer as a first stage with the lashes. Now I always, if you're doing any makeup application, you want to make sure that you curl her lashes. Does anybody know how to curl lashes? Okay, good. It's really easy to lose some lashes if you don't know how to do it. I remember when I first started and I was like, oh, I just pulled out my lashes. I hope those grow back. And so for those situations, there's always our lash and brow building serum, but that's a whole other conversation for another day. But yeah, so you want to curl them first and then you'll put on your primer and let it dry. You really want to get it on there and coat it. And then if you can do a couple of different things. I mean, you can mix and match some of the formulas, right? So I like to do that. I like to take our lash intensity and really create some drama. I'm holding up the wrong tube here. Our lash intensity and really create some drama, and then finish it with like waterproof mascara, especially if you're doing like a bridal event or something like that. You want to finish it with like a waterproof mascara. And then that last act of using a Lash Love brush actually helps to re-separate them, right? Because one thing about the lash intensity, I don't know if you guys know this, but it can get a little gloppy towards the end of the tube. And of course, there's the short side and the long side for how you put it on, but it can get a little gloppy, but it's pretty impressive stuff in terms of giving yourself those long lashes. But I like to seal it in with the waterproof. And this one, it goes on completely different, right? Because you use that short side and you kind of rub it back and forth, and then you twist it and use the long side to pull it through. And I mean, when you put this on like curled lashes, holy, right? But if you're wanting a more kind of natural look, I like the lengthening Lash Love because it gives you it almost looks like lash extensions, like good lash extensions, right? Because you see those people with those lash extensions and they look like somebody like pasted a really intense magnetic lashes onto them. Like I can't even think of a description. It's like almost like they look like a paintbrush. you know, because they're so thick. But this one, when you put this on, it gives you length, kind of like a natural looking lash extension, really. But I like to kind of, when you put this on, I like to take it and put it towards the base of the lashes and just give it a back and forth. We call that zhuzhing. Well, Christine calls that zhuzhing anyway. And I do kind of the underside, and then I like to roll it through the top as well, to really coat both sides. And then there's one last thing with mascara that's kind of cool. Sorry, I'm just checking out which one I like better. One last thing that's really cool is that you can take the ultimate black brown, put that on first, and then just do the tips in like a black, and it's called minking, and it gives a really cool kind of effect. Yeah. Yes, exactly like flyaway lashes. You can always tell when somebody has some crazy, I don't know. Did you know that most girls, like when they put on lash extensions, like they can't even really wear eye product because you can't really clean it? I don't know. It's just not my jam. Anyways, that's what we have lash and brow building serum for, because you can have that look of false lashes without them. So there you go. And lash intensity. All right, V, did I miss anything? You know me and my winging it and my tangents.
No, that was fantastic. I do the exact same thing. The only thing I would add is don't be shy with your mascara. You can put as many layers as you want on there to make it as bold as you want.
Oh, yes. And don't forget the bottom. Like, how many of you forget to put mascara on the bottom, right? Because I think a lot of people think, oh, you don't want to have that clumpy look. Well, you don't need to have that clumpy look. Let me show you that. So I like to do the top, and then I take the wand at vertical and I'll brush it across the bottom. Right, because I don't want to do like a full application on the bottom because I don't want to be that person. Oh, I just became that person right now. Totally did. Anyway, but yeah, you can put like a little bit on the bottom there. And if it goes on too thick, you just get out your little spoolie here from your brush kit and just kind of clean it up. But you want them to be balanced, right? And I mean, if you don't have any under eyelashes, that's okay. And if they're really, really long, then yeah, Rebecca, you got to be really cautious about how you do it. If you were going to do them, I'd probably do like brown instead of black so they weren't too intense. But really, really long lashes underneath, they can look a little crazy. So yeah.
And you don't have to bring them to the end either. If you have longer lashes, you could just do the inside.
Exactly.
Right? And that's all you have to do. Like people think they have to bring it right to the end of the lash. Well, not necessarily. Depends what kind of look you want. And the other thing I like to do too is I like to do my eyes, put my mascara on, then kind of blend my eyes a little more to make sure it's what I like. And then I put another layer of mascara on my lashes just to finish them off. So don't be shy with mascara and layering it on, because you only have a max of 3 months per thing. So use it up, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah, for sure.
it's no use saving it, right? So use it for what you want to use it for. And people think they can save it, right? Like, oh, if I don't use it, all of it, that I'm saving it, but you're not, because you have 3 months from the time it's open. That's it.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to just say is you see this Lash Love brush, like you see how spiky it is. These guys are like silicone, so they're really good at grabbing all the individual lashes. And that's really, really important, because this inside area here, you know what? We always miss these little guys. And also I give lessons on how not to make the mascara face.
I don't have it. I haven't learned it yet. I have my mouth wide open when I put mascara on.
It's because I've been teaching it so much. I've learned how to keep my mouth closed.
I don't even realize I'm doing it until I look in the mirror and think, oh,
and I used to be like,
yeah, that's basically me.
But yeah, you want to make sure you get these inside guys, right? Because they contribute to the full length and the full look, right? And that's the other thing. You can take your wand and you can really fan them out if you want. I learned that from Fanorama when we had that stuff. That stuff was amazing. I hope they bring it back. But you can still fan out the Lash Love. I mean, I realize this is my lash intensity eye that I put all kinds of things on, but it doesn't really matter, because you can fan out the lashes and really spread out the formula, right? And create that more flappy look without the mop style lash extension look, right?
Yeah,
and all
don't
my
be shy to
weird
mix
lingo.
them. Yeah. And mix and match them. I do it all the time. Like Sometimes depending what I want from my lashes, I might do the lengthening first to pull them out and make them look
Yeah.
longer. And then I put the intensity on them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
don't be
have
shocked.
really, really short lashes, and right now it doesn't look like I do, but I have quite short lashes because in this house, the person with the longest lashes is my son and my husband. How fair is that? That's not even fair. But you can get that look by layering different formulas, right? The lash intensity will give you length, right? That whole idea of doing one coat and then letting it dry and then doing a second coat. It'll create actual length, right? Without the fibers, which is nice because it's really just the formula layering on top of the formula. And then, you can go back in with like a lash glove in between and really separate them and give them some definition. It's really up to you. I mean, just play around with them and you'll get to know. Like Ultimate is great for somebody who's got naturally long lashes. It's also volumizing, so it gives them a little bit more oomph. Lash Love, I find, is good for ladies with short lashes, especially the lengthening formula, because it really does give you that look of longer lashes without being as intense as intensity, because intensity is a little like when they say 1,000% volume, man, do they ever mean it? Anyway, sorry, that's me.
Do any of you ladies have any questions before I go into lips? And I promise I'll be short and sweet, and then we'll finish up and see if anybody has any questions. Anybody? No? Yes? I guess everybody asked during. Okay, so lips. Lips can be fun and they can be troublesome to people because like who has the perfect lips, right? Like really, not me, but it's okay. So I'm going to just tell you a few different kinds of lips. So balanced lips technically are the top lip. You have a Cupid bow shape. The bottom and top lips are equal in proportion, fullness. Balanced lips can be softly accented or boldly dramatized. So like a balanced lip they're almost perfect, basically, right? Your top and your bottom lip are the same size and they're full and they look fantastic. Undefined lips are the lip shape is not visible. It's kind of pale in color. Your lip color might even be really pale, almost to your skin color. But you can use a pencil to design the shape of the lip and make them fuller looking, right? So I would stay away if you have an undefined lip, stay away from those dark colors, right? Because it will really show that you don't have a defined lip color. And then thin lips, especially when smiling, overdraws the lips so you could kind of like for a pencil thin lip, you can kind of coat up here and draw it in, right? The worst colors at anything are darks and mattes on a thin lip because it really does show the thinness of the lip. Even if you're drawing it out over your lip, it will show it. It'll look like Cruella de Vil, right? Because it's like, how Cruella is, right? So that's what it kind of does. The darker colors on a thin lip, it just brings all the attention to them, right? And it brings the attention to their shape. Full lips, to have full lips, look less full, use neutral or dark tones, stains with matte finishes. So it begin color application in the center of the mouth and you kind of fade it out. So if you have full lips, like fuller lips than you want, not talking about balanced lips, we're talking about fuller lips. You know how sometimes people have a bigger lip and they want to kind of tone them down to make them more like a balanced lip, right? So what I would do is I always recommend with the lip liner is go on the inside. When you have fuller lips, go on the inside. When you have balanced lips, you could go on the inside too. When you have undefined lips, I would go on the outside. Same with thinner lips. I would go on the outside. So also you can have top heavy or bottom heavy lips. So what they do is they kind of look like they're going down or going up, right? So you can actually kind of draw them out with a lip liner to make them look fuller and more balanced, right? So I have pictures of all this sort of things that we're talking about today and different lips colors with different skin tones. I'll provide you guys. I'm not going to go over every lipstick that goes with every skin tone, but I'll give that to you guys later. And then you have the uneven lips. So maybe this side of your lip is smaller than this side of your lip, right? Or maybe down here, this is a little smaller than the other side. So it's uneven. So you can actually balance them out. And this is why I talk about lip liners so often, because lip liners are like a magical stick that can just make your lips look any way you want them to look. And I love a lip liner because what it does is it can reshape your lips, and also it helps with bleeding, like bleeding or any of that sort of thing. And it'll keep your lipstick on longer. So during COVID times, I have talked about lip liners like nobody's business because I actually use them under my mask. And less of it comes off and goes onto your mask. So you can still have some color and they're waterproof, right? So like it's better. Plus people stop licking their lips. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's nothing in our lips that exfoliates or hydrates or moistens. So you have to actually physically do the work for your lips, right? So there's nothing in our lips. Like in our face, we have stuff that kind of, the dead skin cells kind of exfoliate themselves off eventually, right? Cleansers help everything else, but with your lips, you don't have that. And you don't have any moisture. And so we think by licking our lips that we, oh, that gives moisture. But in your lip, you have, in your saliva, you have digestive enzymes. So it actually chaps out your lips and breaks down your lips, not in the way you would like, right? So it's actually worse when you lick your lips because your lips don't have anything to exfoliate themselves or hydrate themselves. So the digestive enzymes just go to work and make your lips chapped out. So if you're finding you have dry, chapped out lips, could be because you're licking them, right? It has a lot to do with wind, sun, your lips get burnt and they have no mechanisms to deal with that. So that's why we're always talking about the satin lip set, because you need to exfoliate them and exfoliate them often, right? Because if not, they don't have any form of exfoliation. And honestly, putting a lipstick or a lip gloss or anything on lips that aren't exfoliated, you really can tell, especially with the darker lip colors. So ladies, make sure you're always exfoliating your lips, giving them hydration, and a good lip balm doesn't need any peppermint, menthol, anything on it, and you shouldn't have to apply it throughout the day. You can, if you love that lip balm feel, lip gloss look, but you shouldn't have to, right? And that's the thing that people don't realize. They think a lip balm is something you have to always apply throughout the day. Well, no, that's not what it is at all. So ours just gives instant hydration for like 12 hours, right? So that's something you want on there. And you want to make sure that you condition your lips before putting a lip liner on or any of that sort of thing, because it really does make a huge difference. And even for brides, like I always did satin lips on them beforehand, right? Because you really got to condition the lips to make it look and stay, and it makes the lip color stay on longer too, if the lips are all nice and conditioned and hydrated, because then they're not trying to suck up the hydration in the lipsticks, right? So lipsticks are an amazing thing to play with, right? So lip liners are awesome too, because what they do is they can correct. So if you look at my lips, I got pretty full bottom, but not so full top. So what I do with the lip liner is I actually go outside my lips to give them a fuller look. So I actually draw, I color outside the lines. So I take the lip liner and color outside the lines of my top lip. And on my bottom, I just go right on the lip line because it's full. I like the fullness of my bottom. I just would like a little fuller. So if you're finding you have a little thinner lips, then color on the outside. If you have uneven, even them up, right? And like your eyebrows, they don't have to be perfect, right? But you can add them to be fuller, right? And same with if you have full lips and you want to kind of like tame them back a little, then put the lip liner in the inside, right? Because the color will draw it in, right? It'll pull in the lips and make them look how you want. So when someone looks at you, they're only going to see the lip color. They're not going to see the rest of your lip, right? So for me, that lip liners are the saving grace, because if you don't want to do an eye color, you do a lip color, right? And so you can play around. And I find with ivory and beige skin, like you can have a bright color, neutral, and a deep. You just have to know what tones and colors that go with that. And I have a list here, ladies, of all our true dimensions, our semi-shine and semi thing. So I will send that along to you guys too. It's the same with ebony and bronze skin. You want to make sure that you're giving them the correct lip color for their skin tone. Right? Because you can really tell when someone doesn't really know what color palettes they're using, is because you look and think, woo, her lips walked in the room before her. And sometimes that's okay if it's a red. Sometimes you want your red lipstick to show up before everybody else, but there's other times you don't want your lips to show up before everybody else, right? So I will pass along this thing. Lips are fun. Ladies, colors are colors. Doesn't matter if it's a lipstick, a blush, an eyeshadow, you put it wherever you want on your face. Just because they're called one thing, it doesn't matter. Color's color. So you can actually multi-use. And you'll see me in Halloween. I really multi-use lipsticks, eyeshadows, and blushes to do whatever I need them to do. So don't think just because it's a lipstick, oh, I can't put that anywhere else. I've used lipstick on my cheeks as a blush color and it looks fantastic. I've used them as my eye color.
Yeah, I use cheek color on my eyes all the time.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. It's just color. So play along with it. And it doesn't matter where you place it. It's just that's what they were made for, but doesn't mean that's where they have to stay. And you'll notice a lot of makeup artists play around with all the different things. Like I needed a hot kind of coral color, and we don't have that as an eyeshadow. So guess what I did? I went into the blushes. Right? It doesn't matter. It's all color. And you got to remember that when you're using stuff on the face, if you want certain colors that you have in the lipsticks, then use them. Right? Don't worry about it. It's all color. It's all pigmentation, all color, all brightness. Right? So that is basically all I had to tell you about lips, other than please stop licking them. I know I do it all the time, but please stop.
Stop rubbing your eyes.
Stop doing it.
I have a really funny story to tell you guys.
Awesome.
It has nothing to do with makeup. So Damon just said to my husband, my son, he's 5.5. He just said to my husband, Dad, there's something in my mouth. So Clint got out his flashlight and shined it in there. And he's like, oh, buddy, you got teeth coming in. Damon's like, when is the tooth fairy coming? I'm going to be rich. He thinks she's coming today.
Crap.
Anyway, I better go to the bank.
I totally love that. So ladies, do you have any questions? Sorry, we went a little bit over. No? So I'm going to do up an exam for this. You don't have to take it. It's not mandatory. If you want to take it, I'll give you a certificate. But you don't have to take it. And what it'll do is I will, I'll send it to you. Give me about a week or so just to finalize it. I have a few little things that I want to take out and add and different things. And then if you want it emailed to you, just send me in Messenger or text or whatever, or email your email, and I can email it to you. And I'll give you like 2 months to do it, ladies. So don't worry about panic about doing it like overnight, because I won't look at them until July anyway, at least. So take your time. You don't have to rush. And the other thing is too, ladies, is I plan on doing one of these once a month, but more specific. Right? So like I plan on focusing just on contouring, and then we'd go into the foundation contouring, the under eye corrector and concealer contouring, the more liquid contouring, and also the powder contouring, right? Because we have beautiful foundation primers and or not primers, powders and stuff like that that you can contour with too.
We could do like a little series. I mean, would you guys want to do that? We could do like a, like a workshop on contouring and highlighting, a workshop on foundations and base, and
and matching.
Getting excited now. It makes me not want to do my phone calls. but it's June and I have a lot of booking to do.
Yeah. So it's not happening till May or July because I'm not even thinking about it till June, but just to let you guys know that we will be doing future workshops and they won't be to that length of time. Probably I'd say about an hour, maybe an hour and a half long. But we will be doing specific workshops. So let us know if you have any ideas too. So if you wanted to learn more about mascaras, if you want to learn more about brows, eyes, all that sort of thing, we'll go really into depth about it and even bring out, because there's so much information about it. We just try to cut it back to a beginner's kind of thing. But boy, we can teach you so much, like contouring alone. There's so many ways to do it.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
I want to thank Vanessa and Karen so much. Oh my gosh, you guys that was awesome. Like the ladies, I bet, learned so much. Like you think it's just a little bit of basics, but I mean, I'm sure they learned lots. So thank you so much. You guys did awesome.
Thanks,
We
darling.
sure did. And you ladies, you did good. Awesome.
Thanks. We're just trying to pass on the knowledge, get it out of here and out to somewhere else.
Oh, we should have stayed there.
All we have to do is keep it in here.
Yeah.
I'll do a mind meld.
Yeah. And just an FYI, ladies, I'm going to do up a sheet for you guys for the exam and stuff that you can post on your customer pages to say that I'm asking you to do all this stuff and putting you into a challenge. And in order to get your certificate, you need to do so many faces. So I'll do that up for you guys, like as a flyer kind of thing. So then you can post it in your beauty thing and say, listen, this mean ladies are won't give us their certificate unless we do 10 faces, right? So just so you know,
little she devil.
yeah. So you can totally blame it on us. We'll totally do that for you.
Vanessa, next time we need little devil horns.
Oh, and I have them
I'm
somewhere.
sure you do. Sure
And
you do.
I also wanted to say these ladies know their stuff because they've taken, I know at least Vanessa's taken a course with Christine, a makeup course. Probably Karen has too. I know Vanessa's taken a course with Diana Carrero, makeup artist. Like they've taken a lot of courses and they know their stuff. So you guys are learning from the best.
Yeah.
Thanks, May. I don't know for the best, but thanks.
I'll take it. I'll take it. We're the best.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Awesome. So it is recorded. I just have to go upstairs and download it into YouTube and stuff like that. So give me probably a day or so, and then it'll be posted in the pages. So it'll be in the Fearless one, it'll be in Dreamcatchers, and it'll be in Miracle Makers too. So don't worry, ladies, you'll have the ability to rewatch this and take notes if you missed anything, or even if you wanted to rewatch it when you're doing it with a customer and stuff. So I just wanted to let you know that and to look forward to receiving the exam. The same thing as I'll probably post it in all those groups too, but I will email it to you too. So, and I have a bunch of goodies and notes and stuff that I'll send you to. So just so you guys know, like, I just couldn't get it to put together in time, but I do have pieces of paper and faces and all kinds of things that you guys can practice on and play on and all that kind of stuff too.
Oh yeah, like I have, I wonder where I put mine. I have like the pad of faces. Now I'm gonna play. Oh no, I gotta do my phone calls. I can't play.
Yeah. No, you have to do your phone calls. So I'm thinking also too that I'll probably do this at the first of every month because the end of the month is always crazy, just so you guys know. But once we get a schedule put together, we'll send it all to you guys so you can, and they'll all be recorded. So thank you for coming to our first makeup artistry course. We had no idea what we were going to do, and me and Karen kind of just fly by the seat of our pants. So just an FYI.
But we wing it.
Yep.
You
So
did
thank
awesome
you.
winging it.
Thank you.
Did awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I
Thank
hope everybody
you.
has a great
Enjoy.
Saturday and see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Oh, hi. Are you still
Hi.
recording? I'm gonna stop recording.